everyone. Happy first day of spring. Happy Friday. We almost made it one whole week. I hope that you're still doing okay, and I send all of my love to those of you that are watching and want to do my little practice with me and follow along. I'm getting some really great feedback from people, so keep it coming. I really appreciate it. So today, as requested by my good friend and physical therapist, Diana, this one's for you. We're going to be doing hip openers and hip stretches today, a little bit more focused. So here we go. Just follow along. Okay, so starting with your eyes closed, you can sit up on something and just move the fleshy part of your seat away so that you can ground your sit bones down into the floor. And then grow tall through this crown of your head, like there's a string attached at the top and it's lengthening your spine. Take one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and then just relax your elbows down to the sides. Start to take a few slow, long, deep breaths in and out in a way that feels just natural and comfortable to you. Feel the gentle heat that is emanating from your hands on your chest and on your belly. Just let that heat feel a little healing. Sending yourself some love here. Take one more round of breath and just settling into your body, into the space. And then gently open up your eyes, leaving them nice and soft, kind of like you just woke up from a nap. And then start to come onto your hands and knees. Move the blocks away or whatever you were sitting on. And we're not going to do the traditional cat-cow here. What I'd like you to do is bring your knees a little bit more apart, your hands about as wide as the mat, and just start to move your body and torso in a way that feels really just good to you. So I'm just making big circles, kind of going a little rogue with my movements here. Maybe bending side to side, feeling my belly stretch, looking up, moving my neck. Just go in a way that feels really nice and comfortable. Almost like when you go out dancing and you're just feeling the music and the rhythm, and it just feels good to kind of move your body in that way. I'd like you to try and do the same thing here, finding that rhythm and movement, your own pace that feels just really good. For one more sort of breath here, inhaling and exhaling one round, and then coming back to the center, bringing your knees underneath you and your hands one palm print in front of you. Spread your fingers really, really wide as you can, and then like intentionally lay your fingers down onto the floor, pressing down through all 10 finger pads, pressing down through the middle parts of the knuckles, and then also into your palms, so that not all your weight goes into your wrists when you're in a weight-bearing position for your arms. Tuck your toes under, send your hips back, come into your first downward facing dog. Let it feel nourishing and good. So pedal out your feet here.
Stretching out the backs of your legs. Maybe shimmying your hips side to side. That always feels really good for me. You might hear some cracks. It's quite all right. And take a nice deep breath in through the nose, and when you let it out, sigh it out through your mouth. Trying one more time. Take your left leg and lift it up into the air. Stack your hips on top of each other and bend that left knee. Try and flex the foot and then really reach your heel towards your bottom. And if it's available to you, you can turn your head to see your foot underneath that right armpit. Bring the leg forward in between your chest and just hover. Curl up your spine and then place it in between your hands. If you have blocks, great. You can grab onto them. If not, you can just come up onto your fingertips on tented hands. Okay? So I'm gonna grab my blocks here, and then I'm gonna just bring my back foot in a little bit and then straighten out my front leg. As I straighten out my front leg, I'm cutting my hip back and I'm pressing the base or the mound of my big toe down into the floor. As I do that, I'm also gently suggesting the front of my right hip to come forward as I pull the left side back, keeping my pelvis nice and even. Now from here, inhale into a flat back. Try and make your back as parallel to the floor as possible. And then exhale, fold over that leg. You can let your head drop down and hold. Starting to bend that front knee. Place that right knee down onto the ground and kind of move the leg back so that the leg is stretched back here. Now from here, again, grabbing onto the blocks if you need to, come into an upright position with your torso. And I'd like you to tuck your tailbone in underneath you, okay? Now as you do that, you should feel your right glute compress and squeeze really tight. When you feel that, you should also feel that right front hip opening up. Take your arms up over your head. You can interlace your fingers and have the pointer fingers facing up. Press those pointer fingers up and reach. Place the hands down onto the blocks or onto the floor. Tuck the back toes, lift the back leg up, press down into your right hand and twist open to your left. Make a nice long line all the way from the floor to the ceiling. Reach with your fingertips towards the ceiling and press down into the floor. Make sure that that back leg is still activated. On your exhale, lower the arm down. Step that left leg back into a downward facing dog and pedal out your feet. Take your right leg and lift it up into the air. Bend the knee, flex the foot, and try to bring the heel towards the buttock. You should feel an opening in the front of the right hip. And if it's available to you, you can turn your head and try and find that foot in your vision underneath that left armpit. Bring the knee towards your chest, round your spine, shift your weight forward into your hands, and then place your foot down in between your hands. Grab onto the blocks, hop that back foot in a little bit. From here, start to straighten out that right leg. Again, cutting that right hip back. The mound of your right big toe is pressing down into the floor. And then the front of my left hip is pulling forward to keep my pelvis nice and stable. From here, inhale into a flat back, maybe come onto your fingertips. Exhale, fold. Rebend that front knee. Place your left knee down onto the floor so that it's at a diagonal angle. And then moving your blocks a little closer to you. Once it's available, let go of them. Start to tuck your tailbone under, okay, and squeeze your left glute so that you feel a pretty deep stretch in the front of your left hip. Then from here, reach your arms up, interlace your fingers, point your fingers up to the ceiling, and reach up. Your gaze can be slightly upwards, using your eyes, trying not to tilt your head back. And you're breathing. Place your arms down onto the blocks, move them away. Lift your back leg up, press your left hand down into the floor and twist open to your right. A long, smooth line all the way from the floor to the ceiling. Make sure you're not sinking back into that back heel, so keep it lifted and squeeze your muscles towards your bones. Exhale, lower the arm down, step that right leg back, downward facing dog, pedal out your feet. Take your right leg again, lift it up, bring it towards your chest, and then step it between your hands. Grab onto your blocks, and then pivot your way so that you are in a wide-legged position here. Okay, if you have blocks, again, great. If not, tent your fingers and go onto the floor. So from here, start to just move side to side, letting your feet stay still and stationary on the floor as you move your upper body over your legs. So I inhale as I come to the center and exhale as I drop to one side. With your blocks, if you have them, you can move them as you move. And then come back to the center. If your feet are too wide, just bring them in a little bit. Take your blocks directly underneath your shoulders. Come into a flat back on your inhale. On your exhale, fold forward over your legs. Try not to hang back into your heels, so see how it feels to shift your weight forward into the balls of your feet. And then if it's available, hands can come down to the floor. Head releases. You can shake it yes, shake it no. And then inhale, come back up, flat back. On your exhale, you're gonna move your body to face the front of the mat again. And then step your right leg back, downward facing dog. Pedaling out the feet. Go ahead and take your left leg, reach it back. Bring the knee towards your left wrist and place it down onto the floor. Take your lower leg and try and pivot it out towards your right wrist. Okay, so it's kind of like almost in a figure four. Then if you have blocks, grab a block and take that block and put it underneath your right thigh. Not on your knee, but on the fleshy part of your thigh. And then untuck that back foot. If you don't have a block, you can take a blanket or something to lift that back leg up. Okay. Now from here, I could take my other block in front of me, and I'm taking my hands and I'm pressing them down, and I'm pulling my body forward to lengthen my spine as I make my way down into a pigeon pose. You can take the block and put it as a pillow for your forehead, or if it's available to you, just go all the way down onto the floor. And then slowly start to use your hands to come back up. Tuck the back toe, lift the back leg up, move the block away, and then use your abdominals to press that leg back into a downward facing dog and pedal out your feet again. And then let's do the other side. So right leg lifts up, right knee towards the right wrist, place it down onto the floor, and then pivot that lower leg out to the side. I like to reach my left leg back a little bit and then take the block and put it right on my thigh above the knee. And from here, before I lay all the way down, use the mat and your hands to press down into the floor and like pull your spine forward as much as you can. And then the same position that you were on one side, you can modify it with the block or just go straight down. And then slowly make your way back up again using your hands to help. Tuck your back toes, lift that back leg up, move the block away. then step the leg back, downward facing dog. Staying here for a couple of breaths. And lower down onto your knees. Bring your knees about as wide as the mat. And just do a few hip circles here. Reversing your circle. And then bring your knees back underneath your hips. And then swing your legs over to the side. And then swing them forward. Coming to lay down onto your back. Take one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Let your elbows rest down onto the floor. And breathe some nice, slow, deep breaths into the abdominals. Letting the warmth of your hands gently give you some nice healing energy into your heart and into your gut. Find some stillness in your thoughts and in your movements today. Taking one more full round of breath. And exhaling it all out. Keeping your eyes closed, bend your knees one at a time. Roll onto your right side and stay for a moment. And then use your left hand to press up into the floor and come to a seated position on your mat. Take your hands to the center of your chest. Bow down to yourself. Namaste. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Leave me a message or some feedback below. Bye. Until next time.